Welcome back. You're watching Power News, and in today's episode, we're having a discussion on challenges in fast-track execution of power projects and issues related to fuel supply. CCI has kind of restarted many projects in last 1 year, and one of the main reason was the fuel supply. Mr. Swaroop, despite the fact that India is sitting currently on coal reserves of about 286 million tons, domestic production has failed to keep pace with the demand from utilities. Don't you think that this is due to the monopoly status of Coal India, and we need to encourage private participation in coal sector?
You know, I would not like to comment on the monopoly of the public sector. I am not in a position, because that's something somebody in the Power Ministry should be able to do it. But you're absolutely correct that there was this major issue of fuel supply, and most of the projects were actually stuck on for want of fuel. And that is why I think CCA, in its decision in the month of July last year, took a decision to facilitate signing of FSAs worth 78,000 megawatt, of which 70,000 megawatt FSAs have actually been signed. So almost 50 to 52% of the projects that were approved for FSA, half of them have started generating power, and rest of them have various issues, whether it's relating to land or environment or non-signing of PPAs with the state governments. There are a number of other issues which have been discussed and mentioned, for which the other projects have not come through, and my hope is that they will come through.
Let's take Dr. Prasad's view on the same.
Yeah, I just wanted that you brought the right issue. So whereas I wouldn't deny that the IT or monitoring brings results, it brings transparency, but you must realize the success of PMG was not just because of application of IT, but also a willingness to take administrative and political decisions. I don't want to elaborate here, but you understand that the whole process moved fast, not because it brought transparency, but also because there was a backup administrative and political decision. That is one part. And similarly on the coal side, obviously the monitoring at the highest level has fastened everything, but you rightly said that to actually enhance the production, the Coal Privatization Act, which is, the amendment is pending more than a decade in Parliament. Government has to seriously look into it and bring it to finality, so that the actual coal production moves ahead. Otherwise, you keep on signing FSA and coal supply will not be there. We keep on monitoring all details, but actual thing will not happen unless that major political decision is taken.
Well, absence of rail connectivity to underdeveloped coal mines is one of the major reasons for low production of coal. But recently, government has paved the way for laying of 3 critical railway lines in eastern India for transporting more than 200 million tons of coal from mines spread over Orissa, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand.
There were 3 major projects, railway projects, which related to evacuation of coal. And as somebody rightly pointed out, we are not short of coal. The problem is, how do you mine it and evacuate it to a place where it could be used? So these are 3 railway projects, one each in Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, which had been languishing for 6 years, again for want of forest clearance. So I'd like to inform that stage 1 forest clearance has been given for all 3 projects. In one such project, even stage 2 forest clearance has been given. In Jharkhand, the tree felling has started, and our hope is that these projects will come through by 2016, which will create an additional capacity of about 30 million tons, which will bring down the import to that extent. From 100 million tons, 30 million tons would be met through these places where, if the railway lines come through.
I'd like to take your views, Mr. Sharma.
We are over dependent on railways for the evacuation. This issue which was mentioned by Mr. Swaroop also, that certain railway projects have been cleared. You see, we are over dependent on railways, and the quantity of coal which are required to be transported cannot be met by alone railway. So we have to look some other methods, like one is the waterways, which NTPC had done in Farakka, then the pipe conveyor system or the ash slurry. So these are some of the methods probably which we will require to explore, otherwise probably railways alone will not be able to do that. Coal can't be transported. There are 3 coal fields, let me tell you what he was mentioning: North Kanpura in Jharkhand, then in Orissa this your Basundhara, and in Chhattisgarh this Raigarh Mand area. Together 3, they have got 300 million ton potential, 300 million ton. But I can tell you, not more than 10 million ton, 12 million ton coal can be transported. And if you develop certain logistics there, in addition to railways, lot of coal could be produced, lot of coal could be transported, sir.
Dr. Chaudhary, Coal India was also planning to set up plants at coal pitheads location where rail connectivity is not possible. But since Coal India does not have any experience in power plant operation, do we see the possibility of NTPC joining hands with Coal India to form some JV company who could develop such plants at coal pit heads?
I would say that's already in the anvil. We have a joint venture company. It is not a position for me to confirm what we are doing, but pithead plants, our North Karanpura project, which was cleared by CCI, it was stuck for 13 years. That's a pithead project. Hardly 3 kilometers is my coal pithead. So we need pithead projects in the country. We need to mine more coal, but we also need, as a country, to standardize certain things, not only how we mine our coal, what is the quality of coal, how we fill it back, how we use the ash, but also what I have been propagating, and I must use this forum to say, in the capacity addition, we need to standardize our specifications. We are getting all sorts of machines in our country. We have run machines for 40 years. So we have never looked at 15 years financial closure and closing the project.
We have almost all the big equipment giants having their indigenous capacity through different JVs in country. And we also have Chinese equipment suppliers with 20% market share. Do you see any challenge on this front?
You would have watched our program of bulk tendering. We got all international manufacturers to come and set shop in India. Everybody has. The Chinese haven't. Because 10 years down the line, when I need a spare for I don't have to go fishing in some other country. What I'm trying to say is that, I should be able to go to Chennai or Bangalore or some place where these guys have set up their plant and ask for a, replacement or a spare. That's what we're looking at. I think as a nation we should look at it. I'm talking globally, I'm not generally saying anything.
We'll carry on this discussion, but after this short break, you keep watching Power News.
Indian Energy Exchange, India's premier power trading platform.
From manufacturing of energy cables to EHV installations to renewable energy solutions to retail energy products, our technology energizes lives. Ravin, energizing lives.
भरोसा, हिफाजत, मजबूती। कौन सजाएगा तुम्हारा घर विश्वास के साथ? किसकी परछाई में महफूज रहोगे तुम? कौन रखेगा तुम्हारा घरौंदा सलामत? एक नाम जो देता आया है भारत की हर इमारत को बुनियाद, अब उसी पे खड़ा होगा आपका मकान। जिंदल स्टील एंड पावर पेश करते हैं जिंदल पैंथर, सच्चे सरिये की पहचान, पैंथर का निशान।
मैं नहीं सोऊंगा, मेरे बेड के नीचे मॉन्स्टर है।
रोहन, मॉन्स्टर्स रियल नहीं होते।
होते हैं मॉम, वो रात को मुझे हु हु करके डराता है।
अच्छा, अगर डर लगे तो लाइट ऑन कर देना।
अंधेरे में स्विच कैसे ढूंढूं? अगर मॉन्स्टर ने मेरा हाथ खा लिया तो?
अभी सो जाओ, कल देखते हैं।
Switch on to Monster Gone. L&T switches, easy to locate in the dark. The only switch with a 12-year warranty.
Power Grid Corporation of India, the central transmission utility, world-class integrated global transmission company with dominant leadership in emerging power market, ensuring reliability, safety and economy. Power Grid, building a smarter grid.
Welcome back. What would be your suggestion for meeting the coal demand and production targets set for 12th and 13th 5-year plan? Can we have your views, Mr. Puri?
fuel supply. I think that's one of the biggest challenges the sector today faces. And whereas in the long term, I think the only solution we have is augmenting domestic production. But I think in the short term, one of the key issues we need to address, and a solution that was put forward to deal with the issue, was around the idea of coal pooling, an idea that was shot down and was never taken forward. But that, I believe, was one of the ideal solutions. At the end of the day, Coal India has made a commitment to deliver a certain amount of coal to a power producer, and then we need to pool that price of coal, that increased cost of the imported coal, across all consumers. By pooling it, we effectively, by moving the benchmark index, we increase the overall price of coal in the country, and which then automatically within the existing institutional framework passes on as to consumers, which it needs to eventually. Today we have an anomaly which is very significant. We took a decision and said pre-2009, any fuel supply agreements signed will get 100% supply of coal. Post 2009, they will get 65, 75, 78.
I'd like to take your views, Mr. Sharma.
Around 35 to 40,000 megawatts is totally stranded. And for this you require almost to the tune of about 100 million tons of coal. Now how this 100 million tons of coal is going to be produced in a year or so? This is what Mr. Puri was mentioning from short term to medium term. I am telling you this required to be addressed now, failing to which the generation will drop down like anything, sir. Now here, certainly there is a solution, as I said now. You can identify the plenty of mines, only 1, 2, 3, 4, which are the mines which can really produce 25–50% extra. Unless until new coal mines are opened, the coal production cannot increase. Coal India is hardly opening up the new coal mines. Now there are the many private sector coal mines which can probably ramp up to 50% or even more. Allow that, do the coal pooling, do the coal banking, and let those coal be supplied to the one. There may be the power producer who doesn't have the coal. There may be the producer along with the captive mine who can produce the coal, but it doesn't have the power to generate. So such type of things should be really done.
Some, as I gather from what you very rightly put, is that there are decisions that can happen and should happen. And probably it needs to be articulated in a manner and packaged in a manner for a decision maker to take a decision without any serious political implications. Because what you tell me does not necessarily have very serious adverse political implications. As project monitoring group, my job was not to look into policy issues. My job was when there was a problem, they came to me, I attempted to solve it. That was a very limited mandate given to us. But somehow we managed to expand it a bit, and we are looking into processes, and probably we'll expand it a bit further, and then probably come up with policy alternatives. So from issues to processes to policies. So I think these sort of discussions do help in that, and probably this could again be discussed further and evolve policy formulations and alternatives for the government to indulge in a discussion and take a decision. Being an optimist, I do feel that if it is articulated appropriately and packaged appropriately, probably we'll be able to induce the decision makers to take a decision.
Mr. Verma, what are your views on the same? What is your suggestion for PPP model in coal sector, and what should be the way forward for opening the coal sector for private companies?
You all know that coal is available in the country, but we are not getting it to that quantity for which the power generation is required. Coal India alone cannot do it. This is a fact today. And you see in the context of Jharkhand, 10 IPPs are there. 8 of them have not having the coal linkage. They don't have been allowed to have a coal block or a coal linkage from the Coal India. That problem is still there, and they are demotivated. If the coal block is there, the irony of the whole thing, I must say that any checking, any verification, either by CBI, by Vigilance or anybody, should be of the range of 10% to the performance. If it has gone to the 90% in the coal in the form of coal gate or many others. So there so demotivation is there that nobody wants to open a coal block. I don't know what will happen. They are checking the files so many times, sending it to CVC, so many things. So it is the will of the government of India that they should see that yes, coal production is important in the country. The private entrepreneurs must take part in that. The coal block must be given to them, the power station that attached to, so that they can bring that coal to their power station and the development should take place. This is very important.
Dr. Chaudhary, would you like to add something?
Before we set up any power project, we look for 5 clearances. the coal, the water, the environment, the land, and the PPA. Now, there have been a lot of power projects set up either with 3 of the 5 or 2 of the 5. Many of them have been set up with only a letter of comfort from the coal ministry. It is not a linkage. It was not said from which mine, how much quantity. And the private developers have gone ahead and set up those plants. So generally we should not say that coal is not. It is true that we hold the 3rd largest reserve of coal in the world. We have almost 110 billion plus mineable coal. We are not even mining 1 million every year. So those are all areas of concern. But when we say that it is an area of concern, we should also parallelly say, as Mr. Verma pointed out, that this coal gate has all just started. But you know, coal mines have been allocated for 10 years. How much coal has been taken out by other than Coal India? We've also failed. I am admitting it. So it's very easy to sort of blame anybody. If you ask me, I am very happy with Coal India. They give me more than a second. But definitely, we need to look as a country on mining our own coal instead of wasting our foreign exchange in buying Australian and Indonesian coal.
We'll carry on this discussion, but after this short break, you keep watching Power News.
Indian Energy Exchange, India's premier power trading platform.
Jal, jal, jal.
जल से जल तक, मेगावाटर से megawatts तक, SJVN Limited.
Power Finance Corporation, the most preferred financial institution, providing affordable and competitive products and services with efficient and internationally integrated sourcing. PFC, partnering the reforms in the Indian power sector.
Welcome back. Well, most of the gas-based power plants are operating at 25% PLF. Most producers are hopeful of domestic gas production to improve in the coming months. But if the gas would be priced at $8 per unit, the power would be produced at about ₹5 per unit. Let's take Dr. Prasad's view on the same.
The exploration and production of petroleum product has also to be given due incentive in the country. Then only you can have the gas-based power plant. At this stage, you know that whole gas sector has got mired in controversy and is not bringing the production at a level it will be desired. But you rightly pointed out that gas-based power plant has also has to be emphasized. Also, the other issue which is related to gas-based power plant, but somewhat obliquely, that the pricing mechanism. Since at some point we have to introduce the pricing or tariff which is based on the day of time of the day, because when you have a peak power demand, then the tariff has to be higher, so that the gas power based plant, which could be little high, costly, can also supplement that.
Can we have your views, Mr. Puri?
In the context of a dialogue around coal or a context of a dialogue around gas, we mustn't forget hydro. I think hydro is a crucial part of our overall fuel mix. We mustn't forget renewables. And all of these can be enabled by bringing in a time of day concept around both supply of power and consumption of power.
Mr. Verma, what are your views on the same?
We must look towards hydro, because we know that we have a capacity addition of around 2.5 lakh megawatt available in the country to expedite, and the solar again. And I believe that is the real thing where from you can bring it to such mix which is possible, and to have such generation in the peaking time also to meet it. So why should we think about the gas, which is highly costlier and with not us?
Currently, 50% of India's total gas-based capacity, that is around 25,000 megawatt capacity, is remaining idle. How do you see the future of gas-based power plants in India?
I think we should not plan any gas projects unless we have domestic gas and we are able to understand what the pricing is. The moment you convert the gas station to the peaking power, the fixed cost goes up 3 times. And the gas cost as it is know what is happening. So maybe with the subsidized diesel that is coming in the country, the DG set will be cheaper than your gas power. So let's first today understand that we are dependent on gas for exports, we are dependent on diesel for exports. So let's not touch it at the moment. Whatever we have, let's see how we can consolidate more than 25% PLF, as you rightly said, and take it forward.
Let's just take a final comment from all the panelists that according to you, what is the main challenge in fast track execution of power project and what is your suggestion?
I feel personally that state government involvement for development of power in their state should be increased, and that responsibility should come to the center. Well, the state government is developing this project, that project, what is the timeline, whether their people are interested or not, why they are not interested, including the chief secretary, including the energy secretary, including the ministry there in that state. So if they will come into the fold, if the regular meetings are there, that situation will improve definitely, that they will come to know that yes, we have to do this power project in time. Timeline is the most important, and the government has to be serious about it, that whatever development of power is required, it should be within the 3 years or 3.5 to develop a thermal power project or a hydropower project within 4 years, so that it can shoulder the development of the country.
If we have identified some individuals on whose account certain projects are getting delayed, they can be transferred good, but some punishment also should be done, so that people are slightly scared. You know, like in a company environment, you are scared. You can be issued a charge sheet, you can be this thing. So in the state or the central government environment also, some kind of responsibility needs to be fixed, dovetailing what has been done.
The one critical agenda which I will again like to conclude is that enhancement of the coal production by 100 million ton in next 1 year or so. This was the topmost agenda before the government, before the policy makers. How to enhance that 100 million ton?
Many of the factors that we talked about today are I think, are crucial. Time of day power, I think, will drive the efficiency Mr. Roy Chaudhary talked about, which is, which will automatically drive it through a market-based mechanism. But again, I think in the short to medium term, the one issue we need to resolve and address is the coal issue. Because if we do resolve and address the coal issue, I think we will address many of the challenges that the sector has been through. I think many of the distressed assets that are out there are driven backwards by coal. And along with that, if we address the distribution company health, I think these two combined together, I think will address many issues that the sector today faces.
I'll agree with Mr. Puri that and others, the other issues are equally important, but the financial health of the sector is really critical, because in some sense that is incentivizing the whole players in the power sector. So, and ultimately that, as I told you, the revenue model comes from the distribution, the net worth. So the financial health of the utilities have to be really addressed in a war footing manner.
Can we please have a last final comment from Mr. Swaroop?
What I would suggest is, consequent to these discussions, if this group itself will come up with a policy paper, which could then be taken up at an appropriate level for discussion, because the arguments were built they're very cogent arguments that have been put forth. And I'm sure a lot of it can be got through with the government if presented in the manner that it has today. Because there is hardly any disagreement with anything that went about, whether it's a paradigm shift, whether it is in terms of coal supply, whether in terms of the role of railways, all the issues that we come, there's a lot of agreement on that.
Well, with this last final comment from Mr. Swaroop, we come to an end of this discussion. I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining us here in Power News. Thanks a lot.